smell your fear in the smoke and fire. One step closer, no alibis in this game. I don't miss, I don't get tired. Every move you make is wrong. Every second I grow strong. You feel it crawling in your skin. This is where I always win. Welcome to ground zero. Come closer. Where the shadows on your soul. Let it go. You don't run, you don't hide. You already lost control. Welcome to ground zero. Feel it. Hear the silence before you fall. Breathe in. One last breath, one last sound. I'm the echo in the world. Sweet lies dripping from your mouth, but I see through every doubt. Crosshairs steady on your spine. Every heartbeat's borrowed time. Neon lights on a loaded night. I can smell your fear in the smoke and fire. One step closer, no alibis in this game. I don't miss, I don't get tired. Every move you make is wrong. Every second I grow strong. You feel it crawling in your skin. This is where I always win. Welcome to ground zero. Come closer. Where the shadows on your soul. Let it go. You don't run, you don't hide. You already lost control. Welcome to ground zero. Feel it. Hear the silence before you fall. Breathe in. One last breath, one last sound. I'm the echo in the world. Sweet lies dripping from your mouth, but I see through every doubt. Crosshairs steady on your spine. Every heartbeat's borrowed time. Neon lights on a loaded night. I can smell your fear in the smoke and fire. One step closer, no alibis in this game. I don't miss, I don't get tired. Every move you make is wrong. Every second I grow strong. You feel it crawling in your skin. This is where I always win. Welcome to ground zero. Come closer. Where the shadows on your soul. Let it go. You don't run, you don't hide. You already lost control. Welcome to ground zero. Feel it. Hear the silence before you fall. Breathe in. One last breath, one last sound. I'm the echo in the world. Sweet lies dripping from your mouth, but I see through every doubt. Crosshairs steady on your spine. Every heartbeat's borrowed time. smell your fear in the smoke and fire. One step closer, no alibis in this game. I don't miss, I don't get tired. Every move you make is wrong. Every second I grow strong. You feel it crawling in your skin. This is where I always win. Welcome to ground zero. Come closer. Where the shadows on your soul. Let it go. You don't run, you don't hide. You already lost control. Welcome to ground zero. Feel it. Hear the silence before you fall. Breathe in. One last breath, one last sound. I'm the echo in the Sweet lies dripping from your mouth, but I see through every doubt. Crosshairs steady on your spine. Every heartbeat's borrowed time. On a loaded night, I can smell your fear in the smoke and fire. One step closer, no alibis in this game. I don't miss, I don't get tired. Every move you make is wrong. Every second I grow strong. You feel it crawling in your skin. This is where I always win. Welcome to ground zero. Come closer. Where the shadows on your soul. Let it go. You don't run, you don't hide. You already lost control. Welcome to ground zero. Feel it. Hear the silence before you fall. Breathe in. One last breath, one last sound. I'm the echo in the Sweet lies dripping from your mouth, but I see through every doubt. Crosshairs steady on your spine. Every heartbeat's borrowed time. On a loaded night, I can smell your fear in the smoke and fire. One step closer, no alibis in this game. I don't miss, I don't get tired. Every move you make is wrong. Every second I grow strong. You feel it crawling in your skin. This is where I always win. Welcome to ground zero. Come closer. Where the shadows on your soul. Let it go. You don't run, you don't hide. You already lost control. Welcome to ground zero. Feel it. Hear the silence before you fall. Breathe in. One last breath, one last sound. I'm the echo in the Sweet lies dripping from your mouth, but I see through every doubt. Crosshairs steady on your spine. Every heartbeat's borrowed time. I can smell your fear in the smoke and fire. One step closer, no alibis in this game. I don't miss, I don't get tired. Every move you make is wrong. Every second I grow strong. You feel it crawling in your skin. This is where I always win. Welcome to ground zero. Come closer. Where the shadows on your soul. Let it go. You don't run, you don't hide. You already lost control. Welcome to ground zero. Feel it. Hear the silence before you fall. Breathe in. One last breath, one last sound. I'm the echo in the world. Sweet lies dripping from your mouth, but I see through every doubt. Crosshairs steady on your spine. Every heartbeat's borrowed time. Neon lights on a loaded night. I can smell your fear in the smoke and fire. One step closer, no alibis in this game. I don't miss, I don't get tired. Every move you make is wrong. Every second I grow strong. You feel it crawling in your skin. This is where I always win. Welcome to ground zero. Come closer. Where the shadows on your soul. Let it go. You don't run, you don't hide. You already lost control. Welcome to ground zero. Feel it. Hear the silence before you fall. Breathe in. One last breath, one last sound. I'm the echo in the world. Sweet lies dripping from your mouth, but I see through every doubt. Crosshairs steady on your spine. Every heartbeat's borrowed time. Neon lights on a loaded night. I can smell your fear in the smoke and fire. One step closer, no alibis in this game. I don't miss, I don't get tired. Every move you make is wrong. Every second I grow strong. You feel it crawling in your skin. This is where I always win. Welcome to ground zero. Come closer. Where the shadows on your soul. Let it go. You don't run, you don't hide. You already lost control. Welcome to ground zero. Feel it. Hear the silence before you fall. Breathe in. One last breath, one last sound. I'm the echo in the world. Sweet lies dripping from your mouth, but I see through every doubt. Crosshairs steady on your spine. Every heartbeat's borrowed time. I can smell your fear in the smoke and fire. One step closer, no alibis in this game. I don't miss, I don't get tired. Every move you make is wrong. Every second I grow strong. You feel it crawling in your skin. This is where I always win. Welcome to ground zero.
Hello everybody and welcome to Waylander Gaming. This is Waylander here, presenting Kalashnikov's Ultimate Clan Rumble. It is the final day. It's been a long time coming to get to this particular point, and we're into the first of 3 matches. It's, as I'm sure you know, right? Because if you're part of the system, you're part of the system. It's Erangel, always first up. That'll be followed by Murmah, and finally Rondo to end things off. Flight path from the plane, quite southerly. So it's a lot of teams that I think might be heading off towards Pushenki, maybe the military base as well. Though we do know that the military base is one of those spots where generally no one wants to be there, because it makes crossing the ocean to get back to the mainland a little bit challenging, because it is quite a definite choke point. Maybe we would see around the farm and Malta as well, because a lot of teams clustered for the drop very early on. It only looks like FSA are heading off towards the military base. So far, no big areas where you can say, okay, immediately it's going to be the loot and shoot to start. But I'm hoping not to speak too soon, because 2 teams heading off towards Malta farm as well. There's also buildings on the outskirts of Malta, because Malta is quite a decently sized location. Meanwhile, speaking of the outskirts, here we have one of the Snipe Nation squads already into the mix with our blocks under fire and trying to return. Humble as well. He's got a handgun at least. Oh my goodness, there we see the first pick off. As 2 of the Snipe Nation squads landed one on top of the other. It's Team 6 and Team 20 into the mix, as Hassan has already gotten an elimination. Took a chunk of health out from him, before he, with the dust, shall we say. But Humble with the shotgun. The shotgun is, or can prove to be, deadly at this kind of range, and that's going to be saying what as he got knocked. But will we see the flash coming through? You got to be a little bit careful. You can't just jump straight in there, because you got to scout out where the teams are. As Hassan, the next one to take the knock. Humble now in a 2v1 situation. Opa coming around the corner, but Opa would have spotted him out. Has the AR. Oh, the strafe jump not working out, as Opa picks up not just the knock but the elimination as well. It's only Flex left alive at this moment in time, but could potentially be hunted down. Might be best to go for the high ground play here, as 2 of his teammates have been taken out. He's waiting for that in a very clever spot. Would they know that he's there? The loot crate is, nicely done, but quick fingers from Thrug, as the entire of Team 20 has been eliminated. Now let's switch to action that could potentially be happening elsewhere. We have quite a huge spread going on between the teams, though the EMP zones decided to have a mind of its own, really speaking, and closing in on the very southern eastern part of the map. Will it be heading off towards the military base, or maybe around Farm Malta? It's going to be quite interesting, because there's only one team outside the safe zone at this moment in time. Everybody's clustered within the middle at this moment in time. We have 8 teams in the mix. And it'll be a bit of time before we start to see the rotations coming through. There is still plenty of time. If we look at the countdown timer, it's like still under the 3-minute mark for stage 1. And so it's going to be a while before we start seeing teams rotate. But just taking a look at HV, who dropped in between Malta and the Malta power station. just making sure you're prepared. I mean, this is what this particular stage in the competition is all about. It's just like you got to get yourself prepared. You know the EMP zone will be closing in. You know there's going to be a rush play at some point in time. And you don't want to be caught unprepared. Kind of like being in the Boy Scouts a little bit, you know, always prepared for action. As we're just switching around the map, potentially to see if anyone's heading off anywhere towards one another. We're just watching VXC's Romeo again, just providing, I think, some amount of vision on the balconies here on the high ground. Just what a beautiful view in the background, a little bit of ocean. And some safe jumping, and some jumping across. Like, I actually thought that was going to be a bit of fall damage, but with the nerfs to fall damage, not so deadly. I mean, HV is not that far off, right? We can see Ghost's icon on screen. Now, obviously, Romeo can't see that. He is making movement in that direction. Will he be able to scout out and potentially set up a clash very early on? His teammates allowing him to do the scouting out for them. Just strafing around, or at least angling that movement across. Let's see if he gets a bit of a spot out. Here he should see Ghost Rex off in the horizon. You know, just getting the weapons ready. Gets into a prone position. I'm sure you would have seen Ghoster make that movement across. It was a tiny pixel, but running through a bit of open space. Oh. Yes, yes. So from range, as HV are trying to head off towards the vehicle, just to, I mean, it's so important in your angle to have a vehicle. That extra mobility makes a huge difference. But now Team 17 has been spotted out. Team 4, the rest of the players are making that wraparound play. Just watching Retrial 99 with the big swing around here. On horseback, but making that big swing. And so with Romeo doing an excellent job of scouting out. Is he going to be going across with his teammate, knowing that Team 17 could have gotten into a vehicle and gotten themselves out of this difficult position. But it looks like they're going for the 2-2 split with a big wraparound play. I'm assuming that there's going to be some vision being maintained by the rest of the team. As you can see now, the angle is coming in towards where HV are. They do have the numbers advantage. Makeout Hill and Retrial will probably be the ones who are going to keep vision in there, with Retrial already landing some shots. Makeout Hill as well. They're in the dune buggy. They are fighting from distance, though. They're shooting, trying to get the knocks, trying to get this early on. You want them to use as many resources as you possibly can. There's the smoke coming, cover being placed in, as the full 4 members now are all within, or at least 3 of the 4 members are all within the location. But I mean, Retrial just eliminating HV from range. And so now we're down to just a couple of teams left, with the EMP zone closing in. Still looks like it's going to be heading off towards, it's still in the same place for the time being, but could be heading off towards the island. Just switching across here to team number 19, Rise, who outside the school, they seemed like they were heading close to FS, but I mean, there are opposite ends of the school, and the school is quite big. So a bit of drift action going on here from FS. Are they heading straight off towards... No, it looks like they're going in the complete opposite direction. Neither team would have heard anyone. With our first team to score eliminations, they're being very close. SN, Snipe Nation, being very close to where the airdrop is. Will they risk it for the biscuit and maybe try and go for that airdrop? As we said, we're still in stage 1. It's the final 2.5 minutes of stage 1 before players will be forced to move to one and closer to one another, as FS in two vehicles could be heading into a little bit of dangerous territory, because they were heading off somewhat close to where another team was close by. Let's see if we can try and get the view on. It's TFO who are in the building, but I mean, like you can see, it's close but no cigar. There's quite a bit of a gap between them, and they're TFO off the beaten path, so they're not exactly anywhere near any of the major roads, so it's often at times a bit easier to loot up in such a situation. Just deciding to, get some stuff from the vending machine, which when you have the more relaxed moments is not too bad. But FS making the play across. Would they have spotted out anybody? Now the shots are being fired, as it's going to be Zero Aim, who has to get into the safety of the building, as we just try to get that bird's eye view, as when you're stuck inside a building like this, you expect the nades to come in, especially if Bin Laden's after you. As the three members from FS are trying to get the rush play inside, they're just peeking through the windows just to try to get as much as they possibly can done. At least get a potential knock, or at least some vision as well. Going in for the rush play might be a bit dangerous. The nade is set, there's smoke cover being placed by Obati on the outskirts here, as a Zero Aim, still a little bit low. No one's giving him a chance to actually heal back up. Now Bin Laden with the movement across. Do they spot out Razor? He's just behind them. And so they have to be a little bit careful. There is one person not too far away. He wants to try to aim it through the slit. Does he manage to get it done? He was trying to time that. The little splash damage. Oh, the shot, he comes out there. Nice. A knock. We should see the flush coming through very, very shortly, as the battle into the staircase is going on here. It's started into the building, as they got a knock here into overpowered. We see that jump coming through there, through the smokes, to heal in the front line as well. As both teams are going, oh, nice strafe jump coming through there. Beautiful control on the recoil as well. And FS taking out TFO. Double quick timing. But now at the bottom of, it's closing in across the bridge. And it looks like it's heading off towards the island. But Snipe Nation in a bit of a sandwich at this moment in time. We've got KS not too far away. Vehicles on fire. Flex trying to make a play. He's on horseback, but somehow manages to avoid most of the damage. But you've got two players from Snipe Nation who are trapped in somewhat of a small space. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. You gotta smoke up and get out if you're gonna try and survive that. Because if they close the distance down, it just takes one utility, one nade, one molly in such a small space to be taken out. With Opa in the front line leading the charge, he's trying to get the scout out in here, just draw a little bit of fire to make sure his teammates can get into a repositioned position. And they're going to try to maybe get the high ground advantage from range. But team number 4, they're not too far away as well. They would have heard the shots being fired. The question is, coming in for the third party, as it always is when you're coming in for the third party, is a question of timing. You don't want to be too early, and obviously you don't want to be too late. Opa taking shots from a range, has to get into the prone position. But VXE up against team number 6, Snipe Nation. Or at least KS as well. It's a huge range battle. It's Georgia open space to try to make these plays across. We're into the final minute and a half of stage 2. And where both teams are at present is a decent amount of cover that they have. How long the EMP zone is going to be for that. Oh, meanwhile, FS have walked straight into a royal battle in their nades coming out aplenty. There's been knocks either which way. But Laden trying to hold the line on the staircase, as two of his teammates have been gotten themselves into a bit of danger. they're going to have to try to get across there to get a little bit of a rescue. It might be dodgy. Sahil just being the last one to be res. Oh my goodness, the weight on the staircase. Bro just walked into that. That's going to be a knock and potentially a flush, which it is. Sahil again just trying to reposition for that as much safety as he possibly can. Oh my goodness. As Trial, I think it was, who just walks in here. Now it's a big battle with you. Just blasting through the shotgun blast. He does know that Romeo is on the high ground. But Bin Laden being knocked. Can they get close to get the res? I think they might be. Sahil was eliminated. But Romeo just trapped up here on the top of this building. His positioning is not bad. Meanwhile, there is a battle continuing between KS and Snipe Nation. Oh my word. It's actual three-party system into the mix. The Snipe Nation gets a knock here. As it's Thrag on the high ground. They managed to get 2 of FSA. The question is, or do they have the vehicles to come in for the rush play? I think they are. I think they potentially are. And making that wraparound. Will it be the deep one, or are they going to come in for a more direct approach? They're trying to just use the skyline to their advantage. Team number 6, Snipe Nation. Meanwhile, the battle is continuing elsewhere. As like we said, the MP zone forced everyone very, very, very close towards one another. With Romeo just trying to survive in this building. The side of FS not deciding to rush in onto him just yet. They can, if they so choose to, but they want to go for a spread. Just trap him on one of the floors, or at least force him onto a floor. Okay, now they spot him out here on the second floor. They're waiting for the reload, but Romeo using the staircase to great effect and advantage. Is just staying safe. But the pre-fire not managing to land here, as now we're going to see the chase into the building. They have him trapped up in here, but they have to be careful of the utilities coming through. It's Bin Laden on the high ground. He's got the shots coming out, but Bin Laden gets knocked. Romeo trying to get the finish off. Bin Laden trying to crawl to a little bit of safety. His teammate is close by, but Jewel also gets knocked, and it's going to be Romeo saying this is no Romeo and Juliet kind of movie. I'm in here for the finisher. As that chicken's trying to come across just to get his teammate up, but because they managed to finally get Romeo on the outskirts. Meanwhile, Snipe Nation, now with that reposition play from range, are trying to get the lock onto FSA. But FSA, in the midst of that huge open space, being safe for the most part. We're heading in towards the final 2.5 minutes of stage 3. Will it be best to try to get yourself into a more central location, especially with just 7 teams left, and it being only stage 3? Oh, nice shots coming through from Thrag as he manages to get a knock onto Dexter. Now, this is the opportunity. They're going in for the rush play. They're on the hunt. They've already picked up 7 eliminations. Now the rush play coming through here. Shots being fired. They know they just got to get to Mobicel, who is just holding his ground around the barrel, but lovely shotgun play coming in from Say What as the double elimination comes through. Now we're down to 5 teams. As action continuing here, as PE into the mix. Oh, Rolex gets knocked and flushed at the same time. His teammates are close by and managed to revenge him and get those eliminations. We're down to 4 teams remaining, 13 players into the mix. It's the final minute of stage 3, and it looks like there's a couple of teams who still have to get into safety. We only have Rise already in position. They went for that early play. You can see they're setting up shop, just scouting out every potential angle that they can find. got the bridge covered, which is what you expect at this stage. It's always a question of now about timing making that way across the bridge, and which bridge. Being stage 3, personally, I might have risked it to come in through the bridge on the left-hand side, or the westerly bridge. As we just take a look at just switching views to all the different teams, the 4 teams remaining, it is HJ making their slow but steady way across towards the safety zone. Final few seconds of stage 3, and then from this moment in time, you don't want to be caught in the MP zone. You really don't. As the timer is just ticking by. It's just move, scout, but there is a huge distance between everybody at this moment in time. The only real potential clash we could see is going to be the 2 members from Snipe Nation that could be heading straight towards KS at this moment. And KS is making the decision as to when and how to cross the bridge. You know, the shot caller definitely needs to be on point with this one, because especially at this timing, this few seconds before the EMP zone closes in, bridge crossing is very dangerous. You want to use these pathways at the bottom for as much cover as you possibly can. Or you could just go in like a Strag would with the vehicle. He's taking a bit of tag damage in here from Trophy. Oh, but the drive's coming straight through Trophy. He's going to have to try to get a res going, but Legion's the one now. He's in a 2v1 situation. He does have his has flex not too far off as the 2 of them using the low ground this time for some advantage plays. Will we see the res coming through here? Yes, we do. Will it be in time, though, as say what? Having to make certain decisions, whether he should be going for this all out or not. But say what, in a 3v1 situation. Oh, nice nade, but just slightly off the mark. As Flex is the one who managed to get that elimination onto Throg. I think it was an elimination Throg. We're just going to see. This is a battle on the very, very outside of the EMP zone. On the very, very edge of it. Both teams being very careful. Though if KS realized that it's Throg who's been knocked, he went across the river and I think strolled straight into HJ, who gets the knock and the elimination. It's Mr. Joker with that. So we're down to 13 players left. And what we're looking at is sort of like a Mexican standoff right now. But like I said, if KS realizes that they're going to be in that particular situation, they might as well go for the rush play. Meanwhile, just switching to the action here, as HJ up against Rise, they do get a knock onto Joker, as all the teams are fairly close by to one another. We could almost get them almost all in view. It's all 4 of the final teams in the mix, right here just outside the bridge. But I think it's going to be the EMP zone that will be the game changer at this particular moment in time, forcing everybody off towards one another. As Say What using the vehicle to get himself across the river, nicely done. To escape all of the danger that was there. Now it's KS who have to join into the mix. With Say What with a deep rotation, getting himself to a pretty solid position. Is probably going to try to go for some high ground advantage, because when you're the solo player in such a situation, high ground is always going to be to your advantage, you can always get a potential third-party pick-off. Final few seconds of stage 4. As none of the teams really want to budge just yet. Say What is in a pretty decent position. Team number 19's Rise just holding the line there, waiting for KS to make their movement across what is pretty open territory. "11 players still there. Neither team wanting to make that dangerous movement just yet. But the timer ticking by, just hyping up and building that sense of anticipation. Say What would have spotted out the members of Legion coming through, because as I said, he got himself into a nice early position here with some clever play to get across the river, stuck in a 3v1 spot. There's a lot of pre-fire, but no one really taking any damage just yet. As it is a battle, a ranged battle, shall we say, on this particular battlefield. But HJ making their movement across, Legion managing to get a knock. Say What just holding that line and not wanting to move. And Kylie just talking about how long Rise has been in a position. Meanwhile, Jaffe gets a knock. But at this range, right, it's not too deadly just yet. Because you can res your teammates. Though they're actually in the midst of the EMP zone, which might be taking everybody out. And it does. The EMP, the play zone, just melting through everyone's health. So now Baki left on his lonesome. And the EMP zone will be forcing that movement across. And now there's going to be a run through on open ground here. As it's going to get knocked in the midst of the EMP zone. This should be a flash coming through very, very shortly. But now team number 19 forced to make that movement across. And there we see TikTok getting that final hit in there. We're down to 3 teams, 8 players remaining. With Say What having to reposition from outside that building. Knowing that... as the only solo player in here, it's difficult because you have to watch for pretty much all the angles. He does spot out Flex, has cover in one direction but not in the other. Now he's trying to go across there. Can he get this? Oh, lovely peek from Flex as he's the one who gets the elimination. We're down to the final 2 teams, and as things stand, the high ground is there from Rise achieving the high ground, but the EMP zone. Like if we take a look at the map itself very quickly, they're both on opposite ends of that EMP zone. Maybe Rise is in the better position as Legion trying to get to cover, but how are they going to get up to the top of that EMP zone as it or into the safe zone? But it looks like a couple of members from Rise are deciding we're not staying up, we're coming down. We want to bring the action to you. Going for that split play and with this whole hovercraft here. This hovercraft is problematic. When you've got it, it really, really, really can be to your advantage. However, they're sticking to the high ground and using that advantage, knowing that the EMP zone is going to force KS towards them. Legion no one getting knocked by Fear. Oh, there's a flash coming through. So now it's only with Flex and Joffy. And Flex in the midst of that EMP zone. Stage 6, it really hurts. He's going to have to try to get across. But this high ground advantage might prove to be a little bit too much as Flex is just hightailing it. Usain Bolt style. Trying to kick it across here. But Joffy gets a knock, but he's going to get knocked. It's only going to be Flex in there. It's Flex in a 1v3 situation and not the high ground. This is looking dangerous. Can Flex do it? Or will Rise clutch this out? TikTok making the movement across as he is in the front line. No utilities to speak of. Oh, there's the nade that ends it all. And Rise taking a chicken dinner in the first match. So it's Rise with 5 eliminations and the winner chicken dinner. KS with 6 eliminations in second position. Team number 6 is Snipe Nation with 8 eliminations in third, HJ 1 elimination in fourth, FS with 8 eliminations in fifth, VXE with 6 eliminations in sixth position, FSA no eliminations 7th, TFO no eliminations 8th, HV no eliminations 9th, and the second Snipe Nation team with 1 elimination in 10th position. And with that, we head into the stars of the match. Strogwood going all out, picking up 4 eliminations. Say what? Best companion with a 1 rescue. And the finisher with the nade going to Honcho. And with that, we'll have the pause screen up and running for you for just a little bit. And we'll be heading into the second lobby very, very soon.
I can smell your fear in the smoke and fire. One step closer, no alibis in this game. I don't miss, I don't get tired. Every move you make is wrong. Every second I grow strong. You feel it crawling in your skin. This is where I always win. Welcome to ground zero. Come closer. Where the shadows on your soul. Let it go. You don't run, you don't hide. You already lost control. Welcome to ground zero. Feel it. Hear the silence before you fall. Breathe in. One last breath, one last sound. I'm the echo in the wall. Sweet lies dripping from your mouth, but I see through every doubt. Crosshairs steady on your spine. Every heartbeat's borrowed time. Neon lights on a loaded night. I can smell your fear in the smoke and fire. One step closer, no alibis in this game. I don't miss, I don't get tired. Every move you make is wrong. Every second I grow strong. You feel it crawling in your skin. This is where I always win. Welcome to ground zero. Come closer. Where the shadows on your soul. Let it go. You don't run, you don't hide. You already lost control. Welcome to ground zero. Feel it. I see through every doubt. Crosshairs steady on your spine. Every heartbeat's borrowed time. I can smell your fear in the smoke and fire. One step closer, no alibis in this game. I don't miss, I don't get tired. Every move you make is wrong. Every second I grow strong. You feel it crawling in your skin. This is where I always win. Welcome to ground zero. Come closer. Where the shadows on your soul. Let it go. You don't run, you don't hide. You already lost control. Welcome to ground zero. Feel it. Hear the silence before you fall. Breathe in. One last breath, one last sound. I'm the echo in the wall. Sweet lies dripping from your mouth, but I see through every doubt. Crosshairs steady on your spine. Every heartbeat's borrowed time. Neon lights on a loaded night. I can smell your fear in the smoke and fire. One step closer, no alibis in this game. I don't miss, I don't get tired. Every move you make is wrong. Every second I grow strong. You feel it crawling in your skin. This is where I always win. Welcome to ground zero. Come closer. Where the shadows on your soul. Let it go. You don't run, you don't hide. You already lost control. Welcome to ground zero. Feel it. Hear the silence before you fall. Breathe in. One last breath, one last sound. I'm the echo in the wall. Sweet lies dripping from your mouth, but I see through every doubt. Crosshairs steady on your spine. Every heartbeat's borrowed time. Neon lights on a loaded night. I can smell your fear in the smoke and fire. One step closer, no alibis in this game. I don't miss, I don't get tired. Every move you make is wrong. Every second I grow strong. You feel it crawling in your skin. This is where I always win. Welcome to ground zero. Come closer. Where the shadows on your soul. Let it go. You don't run, you don't hide. You already lost control. Welcome to ground zero. Feel it. Hear the lies dripping from your mouth, but I see through every doubt. Crosshairs steady on your spine, every heartbeat's borrowed time. I can smell your fear in the smoke and fire. One step closer, no alibis in this game. I don't miss, I don't get tired. Every move you make is wrong. Every second I grow strong. You feel it crawling in your skin. This is where I always win. Welcome to ground zero. Come closer. Where the shadows on your soul. Let it go. You don't run, you don't hide. You already lost control. Welcome to ground zero. Feel it. Hear the silence before you fall. Breathe in. One last breath, one last sound. I'm the echo in the world. Sweet lies dripping from your mouth, but I see through every doubt. Crosshairs steady on your spine, every heartbeat's borrowed time. Neon lights on a loaded night. I can smell your fear in the smoke and fire. One step closer, no alibis in this game. I don't miss, I don't get tired. Every move you make is wrong. Every second I grow strong. You feel it crawling in your skin. This is where I always win. Welcome to ground zero. Come closer. Where the shadows on your soul. Let it go. You don't run, you don't hide. You already lost control. Welcome to ground zero. Feel it. Hear the silence before you fall. Breathe in. One last breath, one last sound. I'm the echo in the world. Sweet lies dripping from your mouth, but I see through every doubt. Crosshairs steady on your spine, every heartbeat's borrowed time. Neon lights on a loaded night. I can smell your fear in the smoke and fire. One step closer, no alibis in this game. I don't miss, I don't get tired. Every move you make is wrong. Every second I grow strong. You feel it crawling in your skin. This is where I always win. Welcome to ground zero. Come closer. Where the shadows on your soul. Let it go. You don't run, you don't hide. You already lost control. Welcome to ground I see through every doubt. Crosshairs steady on your spine. Every heartbeat's borrowed time. I can smell your fear in the smoke and fire. One step closer, no alibis in this game. I don't miss, I don't get tired. Every move you make is wrong. Every second I grow strong. You feel it crawling in your skin. This is where I always win. Welcome to ground zero. Come closer. Where the shadows on your soul. Let it go. You don't run, you don't hide. You already lost control. Welcome to ground zero. Feel it. Hear the silence before you fall. Breathe in. One last breath, one last sound. I'm the echo in the wall. Sweet lies dripping from your mouth, but I see through every doubt. Crosshairs steady on your spine. Every heartbeat's borrowed time.
Hello everybody and welcome back again to the stream. We're in Murmur for the final, the final map of Murmur for the day, but not the final map of the day. We still have one more to go in Rondo. 9 teams in the mix in Murmur. So, but on the slower side, generally speaking, Murmur. And the plane taking a very centralized route, so where everyone's going to be landing for that early drop is going to be quite interesting. Los Leones is usually one of the hot drop points, but I don't think so at this moment in time. Maybe Montenegro, Power Grid, San Martin. Though a couple of teams are floating right now, with 3 of them might be heading off towards Picado. No, it looks like there's going to be a bit of a shift here, shift in the wind. Montenegro, from the looks of it, this is going to have a interesting start to the game. Only one team in El Pozo. There could be a second one heading there as well, but we're just going to keep an eye here onto Montenegro, since so many people are heading in this way. There are some buildings on the outskirts of Montenegro that can prove to be useful. At least to get something at the start, because you don't really want to head into an absolute firefight this early on. Our TFO deciding, wait a minute here, there's 3 teams in Montenegro. Let us just head out of this and avoid all the drama that can start very early on. And for Zale, yeah, we should have seen them. I should have seen that mortar. I actually switched camera view at that time because I thought your teammate TikTok was heading in to get the pick off, and then you hit the mortar from range. So, Team 4, Team 12, reasonably close by to one another, but not deciding to be too aggressive just yet. Especially with VXE, with quite a spread between their teammates. Though Flowski on that high ground could be coming in clutch for his team when, it's not even if, it's a case of when the firefight breaks out. As that's exactly what we were saying, right? Flowski with that high grounded position. Right, it's got vision on a couple of the members here from Team 12. Oh, what a shot! And they make sure they get the flush as well. VXE with the split from the moment they went in for the drop. On point. It's only Sam MC who's in there with the Romeo, the one trying to close the distance down. Gets a little bit of loot, but they're being patient right now. They can go for the rush play. I mean, they know they have the numbers advantage, that's for certain. With Sam just being trapped up in this compound, now it's going to be Flosky providing that high ground advantage as Romeo and Makeout Hill making their way across. Lovely need coming across in here as Romeo now with the battle on that staircase. Does he know that there was so much damage being done? He's waiting for a teammate. Now the play coming in through the doorway. They're just trying to spot out and peek through each angle. Oh, the turnaround is in there as they managed to get the first team eliminated. So we're down to 9 with that both teams dropping there at Montenegro. MP zone already set, but as things stand, there is quite a big spread between the teams and more or less everybody within the safety zone. But just tracking team number 6's Snipe Nation, who often have that very aggressive style of play. Just holding a nade in their hand. But interesting. They did pick up quite a few eliminations in the last round. Now heading off into the vehicles, maybe making their way off towards Picado, because Picado has been one of those places that, generally a lot of people drop in to loot, but only one team, it was just FS, who went into Picado, but no one nearby each other. So rotations are, I would say, iffy, because you don't know where anybody is at this moment in time. Granted, your positioning on the map and how you're going to rotate is dictated by that, but with this many people, this spread out, it's a bit of a guessing game if and when to rotate. On the other hand, though, we do have a lot of the teams on the southern end of the map, but still no real movements off towards one another. Granted, it is stage 1, and your focus, at least for the first 2, maybe 3 stages, is to loot in preparation for when mid-game hits, which is around stage 4. So I'm just going to, while we wait for the potential movements off towards one another, just focus on what each team is doing across the map. And just from their movements, we can decide or see for ourselves as they decide to make their rotations, what it is they're planning on doing. And also, what loot they're trying to deal with. Because with this amount of time available, you can actually loot up for whatever strategy you want to be using. Granted, I would suggest that having vehicles around is going to be always the best option, because high mobility on a terrain like Murmur provides us is of vital importance, because at one moment you can be giving vision and the next you can disappear from the eyesight of your opponents because of the way the terrain is designed. So let's just head up back to the map just to check now if there is anybody making any rotations towards one another. And still, not yet. They're just circling on the very edge of the safe zone. In such a system, right, it's there's no real way to know. Well, there has been a DC here, or one of the players from the second Snipe Nation team. I always mispronounce this name. I call it Chumacera, but I'm sure it's got some Spanish twist to the whole thing. So just from glancing at the map, you can see FS have a 2-2 split going in their, I would say, favor. They're very centralized, heading off towards San Martin. Right now, movement from everybody very, very static, because we still have that next phase of stage 1 to go. Flex must be thinking, I got a sniper, but I can't snipe anybody right now because, everyone is quite spread. VXE, the only team to get those eliminations. They won the battle early on and looking in pretty healthy condition right now. Everybody back up. They've got pretty decent loot, or at least reasonably decent loot so far. Smokes, nades, everything already set. With some vehicles close by, as they look like they're going to be making that movement across and heading off, just picking up the teammates along the way. KS made that reroute drop to El Pozo. They're the only team that decided to loot in El Pozo. You can see where the safety zone is going to close in at this moment in time. With pretty much everybody outside the safety zone, and that means, depending on the timing of rotation, potential clashes. But we're just going to try to track it here on the minimap just to see. And still, everyone delaying that rotation in. I think it's only VX and Snipe Nation making a movement across. With the now Rise as well, heading in from the outskirts. They Trying to go for the rush play very early on, but it looks like two other teams have the same idea in mind. Could they all meet somewhere around Hacienda del Patron? Maybe even San Martin? We'll track it and see what's going on. So Rise just providing cover for their vehicles. They don't want to give this position away, which means that they're probably planning on waiting for the zone to close in at least one more stage while they set up perimeter blocks, shall we say. The EMP zone will be closing in just under a minute, and will force everyone towards one another. TFO, they're very, very much on, I think, the furthest away at here at truck stop, as we can see. So they're delaying their rotation in. Potentially, when you're doing that, right, you can get into some nice third-party action. FS's chicken just using the top of the building to get as much of a vision as you possibly can, but there is no one really close by just yet. But in this particular bit of space, would the teams have heard? Well, they're in vehicles, right? A lot of them. So they would have definitely heard one another. And that can give you the opportunity. So KS has been spotted out by VXC, who have gotten the only eliminations of the game so far, as they're going to try and take advantage of the high ground that they have. Maybe to get a lock onto this compound. It's always an interesting battle between the high ground versus being in the compound here in Miramar. As Legion being just tracked here by Romeo as he's waiting for the rest of his team to come through. Now there's a bit of pre-fire onto Rolex. Takes some damage and gets to safety. Oh, but the return fire here onto Flowski, who's been knocked, as Knife Nation could be heading in for some third-party smoke coming through there, as they do spot out Opa as he's driving to give some vision, but there's the double knock coming through. Teammates are close by for the res, but that bit of distraction Opa gave may have caused some chaos here for the side of VXC, with the rest of Snipe Nation heading off in this direction as well. Retrial trying to provide some cover for his teammate, as Snipe Nation just parking themselves across the ridge line, and will be trying to, because they've got the 3-1 split, right? They can come in if they so choose to. But the smoke is pretty much everywhere. Now VXC, they're trying to get into position. They're just dodging a couple of nades, throwing out the smoke. Retrial the one, just trying to give vision by using the vehicle. Should be able to res everybody up. Now it's a bit of a peekaboo kind of strategy, with KS also joining the mix as we see them heading up the mountain. This could be potential third party and a sandwich in here for Snipe Nation. Joffy is the one trying to get the elimination onto Broski and Romeo. Oh, Romeo's been knocked. We're in a cover by Rolex. And this battle just waging in pretty much every direction. Retrial coming across, and his Rolex with the eliminations there. Should be able to pick off Romeo as well, even once the hunt is going on. But the split coming through has meant that Flex on the side of the wall, as it's going to be a double knock in here. But there's the flash coming in as Thrag, the one who has the opportunity to finish it all off. And probably res his teammates in the mix as well, who are trying to get themselves to some amount of cover. Flex is just trying to be flexible as he rotates across, but Blocks takes him out. So that's Team 20 from range, who are hoping to get a bit of revenge for the last game. Oh, that was so close. Say what was like a millimeter away from death. And the res coming through just in time. Opa, meanwhile, trying to get some amount of engagement, but taking way too much damage. That was some lovely control. Oh, the knock comes through as Team 20 are on the hunt. And there's a huge spread now between where Opa is and the rest of the team. He might be hunted down. You can see how far away his team is. Team 20 want to come in with those nades. As we should see them try to clear. They do realize that Opa is far away from the team, but still taking the safe route to rotate across, not wanting to just drive up into something that could be dangerous. Meanwhile, Thrag on a rescue mission. Can he get this done? Throws out some smoke. So did Team 20 wait a little bit too long here? They repositioned to an alternate high ground, but gave space for the res to come through. Now the high ground is in favor of Team 6. But Team 20 are using that very interesting strat of repositioning across different high grounds, using the vehicle to do so. It is most effective on Marma. But in the direction in which they're rotating, it's going to be difficult to try to get that high ground. We're heading towards the tail end of stage 3. And it looks like both teams have decided that they might want to... Oh my goodness, as we say that, there's the knock onto 2 and the EMP zone moving in here at the same time. It's Opa and Hassan. Now the drive-by is coming through. Will we see the finishes coming off? The spot out is in there, but they take a lot of damage jumping out of the moving vehicle. Oh my goodness, now it's just Opa left in a 1v2 situation. He's going to try to get something done as we get in a little bit closer. Moving across, walks into the nade. Nicely done from the 2 members of Team 20, even in the middle of the EMP zone. They're getting in there. They're taking the chance to loot up as well. But nicely done from them, as they should be making their play across shortly. EMP zone closing in here on Graveyard. We're down to the final 6 teams. So Team 20 got their revenge from the previous match. HJ with the spot out here onto FS, who have opted to go in with as many vehicles as possible. Well, almost as many vehicles as possible. Joey here has got vision on everybody. Rise, FS, the works. So gonna try to close the gap down, knowing that from this range there is a definite option for some third-party action. As Rise gonna be hunted out here. FS trying to close in Majestic, the one with that high ground play, but it's going to be knocks aplenty going on as Fear and Honcho are trying to just make sure that they can keep this on lock. Just to maybe get the res on their teammate as well. Fried Chicken should be the next one taken down, but that's going to be Joey from range as HJ got themselves into that high ground third party positioning. And that's going to be an entire team. I think, is that the entire team gone? No. Almost. There's just, I think, one player left. I think it's Majestic on the outskirts, who's deciding to hightail it from this bloodbath that could be taking place. However, in this little skirmish, I would say that Rise does have the positional advantage, even though they're not on the high ground, because they have enough cover from the buildings themselves, right? What they do have going for them is the EMP zone. Because high ground is high ground only as long as the EMP zone's not forcing you out into the open. And I think HJ do have vehicles to make that play because they're going to have to time it. Oh, but they've got them all trapped into this small space. But this is what we were talking about. Like sweeping across the landscape here. It's going to force HJ's hand to make that movement across. I think they have the vehicles to do so because you don't want to be running across this open space. And Joker was trying to do the same thing there. He's going to get knocked. And it's so difficult to try to get a race through coming through here as he's just on that open space. But as they're trying to get that cover being provided, it is stage 5, right? There's going to be a double knock coming through. But, you know, enough teammates around to get those reses going. And the play zone takes out Flex. So Team 20, they were deep within that play zone, but we're just watching this once more, this ranged battle going on. The MP zone just stopping at just the right location, I think, for HJ as they'll try to keep the advantage that they have. Flex has been knocked on the outskirts of the play zone. His teammates should be around to get the res going, though. Unless that was a DC. Oops. Joey in danger. Needs somebody, but he's like sort of on the edge of safety and danger. It just depends on whether his teammates can get across to help. But with all this gunfire, meanwhile, it looks like there's action happening elsewhere as well. As Majestic is the one getting a bit of fire. Oh my word. And it looks like there's some big fall damage happening. Flex finally being removed from that by that EMP zone. We're down to 5. Neither of the teams want to budge from this position just yet. With looks like TL25 he's taking way too much damage from the play zone. Struck on fire and he's trying to get to a bit of safety. Does manage to do so, but he's dancing on the very outskirts. Meanwhile, Majestic, the one just engaging onto everybody. It's Team 5 and Team 20 and everybody in here with SMG's TL25 needing the smoke cover, but whoa, too much being done as it's the rest of Team 20 being taken out here. TFO with Razor, lovely snipe shot coming in onto Princess. And HJ, they have to make their move across very soon as he just spots out, gets all off. So close. The hills, just like I was saying, right, at this stage in the game, the hills do really provide some decent amount of cover. Meanwhile, Majestic in a battle here. Managed to take down a couple. Only has the crates for cover. Now on the hunt. Trying to get that strafe coming through at Thirsty. Being thirsty and gets the elimination. So we're down to the final 3 teams. Oh, but Rise's Spear from range manages to get the flash shot to Razor. And that's going to be Razor taken out. There's only Thirsty left. He's going to try to maybe get revenge. But my goodness. From behind this rock, it's proving to be difficult. There's one more knock coming through. There's just no cover as it's Baki from range who gets that elimination. We're still down to 3 teams, right? But now Rise with the vehicle play coming in. They're going to be circling off here towards where Thirsty is. Thirsty could be trapped up. He doesn't have the best in terms of the health bar. As now it's Hancho into the mix. Shots being fired. As Hancho's trying to get in onto Thirsty. Thirsty just walks across, but it's Fear who gets that elimination. Now we're down to the final 2 teams. And it's Rise using the vehicle strat on the very, very edge of the play zone. They're making that play across towards where Princess and Baki are, who are in a lot of danger. And that's going to be the elimination with Hancho picking up the double at the end. And with that, we have Rise picking up the second chicken dinner in a row with 6 eliminations. HJ finishing off second with 3 eliminations. TFO, third position with 2 eliminations. FS, 1 elimination in 4th position. SN with team number 20 with 5 eliminations in 5th position. VXC, 4 eliminations in 6th. Team number 6's SN with 3 eliminations in 7th. KS with 3 eliminations in 8th, and FSA with no eliminations in 10th position. Stars of the match were Fear with the going all out, 3 eliminations, and Throg best companion with 2 rescues. And the finisher, sadly, was the play zone at the end. But with that being said, we will have the next map up and running and ready for you in just a minute. So we'll be back shortly.
I can smell your fear in the smoke and fire. One step closer, no alibis in this game. I don't miss, I don't get tired. Every move you make is wrong. Every second I grow strong. You feel it crawling in your skin. This is where I always win. Welcome to ground zero. Come closer. Where the shadows on your soul. Let it go. You don't run, you don't hide. You already lost control. Welcome to ground zero. Feel it. Hear the silence before you fall. Breathe in. One last breath, one last sound. I'm the echo in the world. Sweet lies dripping from your mouth, but I see through every doubt. Crosshairs steady on your spine. Every heartbeat's borrowed time. Neon lights on a loaded night. I can smell your fear in the smoke and fire. One step step closer, no alibis in this game. I don't miss, I don't get tired. Every move you make is wrong. Every second I grow strong. You feel it crawling in your skin. This is where I always win. Welcome to ground zero. Come closer. Where the shadows on your soul. Let it go. You don't run, you don't hide. You already lost control. Welcome to ground zero. Feel it. Hear the silence before you fall. Breathe in. One last breath, one last sound. I'm the echo in the world. Sweet lies dripping from your mouth, but I see through every doubt. Crosshairs steady on your spine. Every heartbeat's borrowed time. Neon lights on a loaded night. I can smell your fear in the smoke and fire. One step closer, no alibis in this game. I don't miss, I don't get tired. Every move you make is wrong. Every second I grow strong. You feel it crawling in your skin. This is where I always win. Welcome to ground zero. Come closer. Where the shadows on your soul. Let it go. You don't run, you don't hide. You already lost control. Welcome to ground zero. Feel it. Hear the silence before you fall. Breathe in. One last breath, one last sound. I'm the echo in the world. Sweet lies dripping from your mouth, but I see through every doubt. Crosshairs steady on your spine. Every heartbeat's borrowed time. Neon lights on a loaded night. I can smell your fear in the smoke and fire. One step closer, no alibis in this game. I don't miss, I don't get tired. Every move you make is wrong. Every second I grow strong. You feel it crawling in your skin. This is where I always win. Welcome to ground zero. Come closer. Where the shadows on your soul. Let it go. You don't run, you don't hide. You already lost control. Welcome to ground zero. Feel it. Hear the silence before you fall. Breathe in. One last breath, one last sound. I'm the echo in the world. Sweet lies dripping from your mouth, but I see through every doubt. Crosshairs steady on your spine. Every heartbeat's borrowed time. I can smell your fear in the smoke and fire. One step closer, no alibis in this game. I don't miss, I don't get tired. Every move you make is wrong. Every second I grow strong. You feel it crawling in your skin. This is where I always win. Welcome to ground zero. Come closer. Where the shadows on your soul. Let it go. You don't run, you don't hide. You already lost control. Welcome to ground zero. Feel it. Hear the silence before you fall. Breathe in. One last breath, one last sound. I'm the echo in the world. Sweet lies dripping from your mouth, but I see through every doubt. Crosshairs steady on your spine. Every heartbeat's borrowed time. Neon lights on a loaded night. I can smell your fear in the smoke and fire. One step closer, no alibis in this game. I don't miss, I don't get tired. Every move you make is wrong. Every second I grow strong. You feel it crawling in your skin. This is where I always win. Welcome to ground zero. Come closer. Where the shadows on your soul. Let it go. You don't run, you don't hide. You already lost control. Welcome to ground zero. Feel it. Hear the silence before you fall. Breathe in. One last breath, one last sound. I'm the echo in the world. Sweet lies dripping from your mouth, but I see through every doubt. Crosshairs steady on your spine. Every heartbeat's borrowed time. Neon lights on a loaded night. I can smell your fear in the smoke and fire. One step closer, no alibis in this game. I don't miss, I don't get tired. Every move you make is wrong. Every second I grow strong. You feel it crawling in your skin. This is where I always win. Welcome to ground zero. Come closer. Where the shadows on your soul. Let it go. You don't run, you don't hide. You already lost control. Welcome to ground zero. Feel it. Hear the silence before you fall. Breathe in. One last breath, one last sound. I'm the echo in the world. Sweet lies dripping from your mouth, but I see through every doubt. Crosshairs steady on your spine. Every heartbeat's borrowed time. can smell your fear in the smoke and fire. One step closer, no alibis in this game. I don't miss, I don't get tired. Every move you make is wrong. Every second I grow strong. You feel it crawling in your skin. This is where I always win. Welcome to ground zero. Come closer. Where the shadows on your soul. Let it go. You don't run, you don't hide. You already lost control. Welcome to ground zero. Feel it. Hear the silence before you fall. Breathe in. One last breath, one last sound. I'm the echo in the wall. Sweet lies dripping from your mouth, but I see through every doubt. Crosshairs steady on your spine. Every heartbeat's borrowed time.
Hello everybody, welcome back to the stream. This is Paylander here, bringing you the final game in Ultimate Clan Battle as we head off into, well, I think everyone's, or one of the favorite maps, which is Rondo. 9 teams in the mixed double plane part, though it is crossing around the place where we kinda expect everyone to go at the beginning. New York's Factory Test Track. Although Yulin has been a spot that has been quite a hot drop zone, but 2 of the teams deciding, you know what, we're not going for the usuals. Looks like it's Jadeja City and maybe the outskirts here from both TFO and HJ. Everybody else looks like they're ready for action. Oh, wait a minute, it looks like it's just Joker who dropped off early from HJ. There's a couple teams trying to drift off down towards Danching, but as expected, we are taking a look at Test Truck, New York's Factory, the 3-1 split. Okay, I see. They went for the 3-1 split. Joker, the one being the one in the 3-1 split. And as expected, action aplenty from the very, very outskirts. As Makeout Hill trying to get the close in onto Sahil and Majestic, and that's going to be a quick double knock here. Coming through from Romeo. Oh, nice jump. As we just take a look at Test Track has just a couple of teams there. With Team 20 also close by. So it looks like there's 5 teams in the mix here. And that's so heal with the recall, and then already they're in a battle. Yeah, at the bottom, we're just going to switch across to the action in here. FSA could be, they went for the full 4-man, and they're up against the trio, I think it is, from FS. They did get a couple of eliminations, but as long as you get one person out at this stage, right? Or whether you went for the 3-1 split, whether you went for... I think the 3-1 split is best only if you're going to be landing in New York or test track, right? Other than that, even if you go 4-man, as long as you get one player out of the mix until the first 3 stages are done, then you're going to be okay. Meanwhile, there is action happening elsewhere as KS... up against Snipe Nation. This is a full 4v4 battle. Could result in teams being eliminated. Rolex is crawling to a bit of safety in the water. But the hunt on from every direction Hassan being knocked dragged now in a what was a 1v2 situation. Gets some damage onto Jofi, but Flex has been knocked. Now it's just going to be a battle between the two. Vitrag is quite low. Oh my goodness, there's a wraparound play coming in here. Will we see the finishes coming off? Vitrag is on the hunt. Gets one. Will it be two? And that is two. And then that leaves two players who... it's Rolex and Legion. Rolex being knocked, but it should be rezzed up. They need one player to actually escape here, with Pika the one making the movement across. Does he spot them here in the river? He does see them, and that's going to be chaos. The first team taken out here in Yulin. But now it's a battle between our previous chicken winner dinners, Rise, who do spot out SN Team 20. But being trapped on the rooftop, they have gone for their 3-1 split. Actually, no, they went with a full 4-man in here. Very, very interesting. Backing themselves a little bit to win this battle, sticking around with 4 players. Not wanting to, how do you say this, err on the side of caution. As neither team want to make the rush play just yet. But TFO could be heading in this direction as well. We can see them just there on the side of the minimap, with Madra getting a knock coming through as TFO are trying to head into the same direction. They also manages to get the knock onto TL25. Now it's right. You've got that issue with the track itself, because everybody is sort of stuck within the space. Will we see them with Rise making the play across? Hancho, the one being leading the charge here with a bit of an aggressive play. They're coming in knowing that if they've got the utilities, they can nade their way into the building. Now that as we zoom in, just to follow it, as we said, the same thing. Now it's a rush play up the staircase. As they're making their way across, Madara's been knocked fear. And there's full-on battle here as Rise managing to get the pickoffs. There was only Madara being knocked, and they managed to survive this and get a decent number of eliminations. Meanwhile, Team 20 do have vision on the 2 members from VXE who are inside Neox factory. But have to be careful from potential third-party action coming through from Rise, who are on the hunt to solidify as many points as they possibly can. And, well, this being the final evening, to clutch out, if they can, the entire series. Because, I mean, 2 chicken dinners and then a decent number of eliminations in their favor. Meanwhile, there is a battle outside. The reses have been brought through, and it's FS who are in hot water right now. It's just Dexter left standing. And can he hightail it from here? Because he might need to get out. Oh no, he's going to be hunted down, and that's the second team taken off the map. As we switch back to New York's factories, our triple threat continues. Humble being knocked just as he was trying to give some amount of vision. Rise now into the mix here, but Blocks has that high ground. The chase is up here, but oh my goodness, he gets the double knock onto Hancho as well. It's only going to be Madara left standing, but it's so difficult for him to try to get out from here because 3 of his teammates have been eliminated, and this is the only danger of not going for that 3-1 split. And SN Blocks taking out Rise in the third and final game. They were feeling themselves after the first 2. Boy, yes, it is. It is the mobile version. But I think you realize that without me saying so. Now, the newly rezzed FS, heading straight into the arms of SN1, getting one elimination Sahil, and with his teammates at his back, potential for to go in for another team wipe in here. Seems people love Rondo. Oh, Hassan with a bit of damage coming through from the corner, but he tries to go for the peak a little bit too long. He's gonna get knocked with Bin Laden into the building, trying to close everything off here. It's a battle between Bin Laden and Throg, but Bin Laden taking way too much damage. Throg on point with his shots. Hassan, oh my goodness, but now Throg is in danger from Chicken. As Chicken is making his way across, he wants the dinner, not just to be named the Chicken. But Throg, he's gonna get trapped up in here. And the finishers are coming off, as that should be Hassan taken out as well. And with that, okay, where was there one more teammate? It's Opa at the res station who should be able to get everybody back. And still the action continues here at New York's factory. With the TFO coming in for round number 2. We're down to 6 teams and it's already just stage 1. Retrial with the high ground. They went for a split across 2 different rooftops, as you can see from this aerial view. They play this game like an empty hospital. Yeah. Yeah. This game does require a certain degree of patience, right? It does need a certain degree, but I'm with you, Kwai. I'm the same way. I also have zero patience. I just like too much for the action, and occasionally that leads me into situations that I shouldn't have found myself in the first place by making some dangerous rotations. But what I've noticed in this in the tournament setup, right, it actually, a lot of the play style depends on the point system. So when you get more points for position than eliminations, you find that teams are a lot more patient, because I mean you really are playing for positions. It doesn't matter too many or how many kills you get. You just want to go in to try to get that good positioning. But as you can see, when it's all about kill count, right, then you get this, like, which is the very aggressive style. Oh my goodness. Makeout Hill in a lot of danger right now. He's in a 1v2 situation as Humble and Blocks is making their movement across. He's got the shotty out. He's trying to get something done. He manages to get one knock. Can he get the other? Somehow he did it. Oh my goodness. Like a one-man army. He took out the entire team. Oh, Makeout Hill, take a bow. He did that, and not just did that. It was a complete team wipe as well. Crazy stuff from him. It's only the one member from TFO left on the outskirts. We're still early on, right? So if there's VXE have the option for to get a res, they should be able to get one onto retrial. He was taken out in the midst of New York's factory, but my goodness, that was some crazy play. We're down to the final 5 teams and stage 2, right? So it'll be probably a while before there's going to be potential clashes. Though SN and HJ could be heading off towards Yulin, which is another spot on Rondo that's been brutal. But everyone well within the safety zone, and it's still a while before there'll be a closeout to do. Will they spot zero aim though? That's the question. So retrial has been rezzed. It's Romeo though, who's a bit far away from everybody. With zero aim here on the high ground on the outskirts. He's just waiting for a potential opportunity to get a pick off. Just unloads a clip onto Flowski, but he's on the rooftop, which we know is either good or bad. Can either work out in your favor or not. With zero aim, just repositioning. Oh, but taking a lot of damage, jumps across from the top of the building. With the smokers already there for pre-cover. Does have a vehicle to get out if necessary. But this is stage 2, so res is still available. Now holding position, hoping that VXC are going to be a little bit impatient. He does spot out retrial. Now the question is, how are you going to get this done? He's got a nade set. He's waiting for the timing. Goes in. Oh, but there's going to be the knock coming through. This should be the flush as well. And that's going to be zero aim taken out, but rest almost immediately. Now FS leaving Yulin. They're either going to be heading straight towards SN, but most probably towards HJ, who are just on the outskirts, along the roadside. Roads in these maps are good places to get yourself those pickoffs. As team number 10 are heading in. Team 8 is HJ already in vehicles, but waiting for now. Where did Team 10 go to? It looks like they already moved across. Very, very far away. They rushed it towards the center of the safe zone around Bamboo. With most teams deciding to make the movement early. It has been a theme of this last day. HJ deciding all to go in one vehicle. Could be risky. There's one well-timed nade or like if you can get the shots onto the vehicle, could prove to be disastrous. Personally, I'm a fan of at least 2 vehicles. At least 2. But it's the play towards the center. As we know, teams would love to get that early positioning. With FS already in position, HJ just could be heading straight towards them. I don't think there's any warning that they're in here just yet. Will HJ be in trouble? Because like you said, they're all in one vehicle. SN is close by. There's the shots coming out as they try to hightail it out of the compound and maybe reposition on the high ground. But as they're doing that, they're heading straight towards SN1 Opa and crew. As now the shots are coming out, they get a knocker to Joey Joker trying to return fire while they're driving around in here. That's going to be another knock. Princess trying to cover up for the team, and that's going to be like one at a time. It's only Bucky, and that's the full team wipe. Opa was knocked, but teammates close by for the res. Will we see FS team number 10 make the rush play out here to try to get in for some action? Or will they still hold the compound? Is the big question. Smoke coming out. Just to get as much safety as you possibly can when you're going in for the res. We're down to 4 teams. 4 full teams, right? 16 players remaining. It's a heal in the front line, but the repositioning coming through very quickly from Snipe Nation. But Opa distracting and driving everybody in here. Sahil is trying to avoid the nades. There's another vehicle just circling around, but Opa with the repositioning. Sahil gets out of dodge as it's a fight in it's a real fight in the vehicles as Pika and they're gonna try to knock him out. Oh, so close to going for the drive over as Sahil gets out. Bin Laden gets the knock out of Pika. Now it's Sahil chasing down Throg and he manages to get the knock on the top of the mountain. The split's playing very nicely in the favor of FS as now it's just Opa and Hassan left alive. This is stage 4, so there's no options to res. Opa is in the compound, but he's by himself. Will we see the FS go in for that play, knowing that they have the number superiority? Or did they realize that Opa was in there? I don't think so. They've gotten what they wanted and now repeat their rinse and repeat of getting in towards a more centralized location. With TFO using the vehicle play on the very edge of the EMP zone, just circling in here. This fight is going to be taking place on the outskirts of the stadium. As we're heading into the final stage of this matchup. The final 4 teams quite spread at this moment in time. I suspect that the EMP zone might be closing in around that hot drop towards the end. Opa stayed as safe as he could within the EMP zone, now making his movement across towards Hassan. There we go. As I suspected, it was going to be right there at the airdrop. With TFO not deciding to go in full into the center of the zone, using this mountain range cover to the best of their advantage. It does cut off some of their vision, however, but this could be a decent location as the game is going to be nearing its conclusion. FS meanwhile spotting out VXE as GXE with the shots coming through. Chicken taking a lot of damage as they battle between the mountaintops, trying to provide some extra cover for themselves as they summon in the barricade brigade. Because they only have the one bit of cover in here. This is quite clever from them, just providing as much cover as they possibly can. Nades raining through, or at least I think maybe more stars being chucked around. It's a Flowski with a quick rotation, but takes some damage. I think it's from Snipe Nation, who are not... Oh, no. It would have been from FS. Snipe Nation on the other side. On the left-hand side. A bit far away, I would say, from where the action is right now. As stage 5 ticks by, and we'll drag all 4 teams all close to one another. And it should be closing in into where FS are already in position, and they've provided themselves with cover. They know they've got the mountain on the right-hand side just to give them that certain degree of cover. As even more barricades are being provided by VXE as they try to make their way across, knowing that trying to get up the high ground could be challenging. Or not could be, it is challenging. Let's be honest about that. Again, there's a lot of pre-fire going on, but nothing major happening just yet. And the EMP zone closing in once more. This is gonna really start forcing everybody towards one another. Now the battle is on as VXCR on the hunt. Retrial gets 2 knocks, but he's knocked himself. We see the flash coming through. His teammates trying to provide the cover. Majestic is in there. He gets the flash, but and the knock onto Flowski. But oh, what a nade coming in there as it's Sahil. Bin Laden left. I think the mortars are raining in here. Smoke just being thrown in. This is the time that you need. If you're ever going for a molly, this is the moment in time. Make out Hill trying to close that gap down. That's Sahil who's been so good in these close combat situations. Now Romeo trying to get the cover up for his teammate, but he could be in a 1v3 situation. Can he get something done? He's playing with cover as best he can, but once again, like we said, this high ground positioning, difficult to make this happen. It's Flowski who with that final bit of damage there, who does take out Chicken. Make out Hill wants to try to get somewhere close for a res. The same with Sahil, but there's no way for Romeo to get even close to anybody. Meanwhile, TF or FS gets the knock on. FS Bin Laden gets the knock onto TFO, and that's going to be VXE taken out with now Snipe Nation not too far off. The same with TFO. They're just here on the left-hand side as they came in for a potential third party. But the EMP zone forcing them towards Bin Laden, who also has to move himself. It's Snipe Nation in the best position right now. As Bin Laden in a battle here in the midst of the EMP zone gets a knock onto Viper, but takes a lot of damage, and with the EMP zone doing what it's doing, he gets a knock onto Bati as well, and so that's just going to be, again, Bin Laden crawl to safety. Oh my goodness, this is just seconds of timing with Hassan sensing an opportunity to come in for the finisher. He wants to try to close the distance, but can it be done? The timing, so close. It's going to be, looks like it's going to be Hassan up against Sahil and Bin Laden right here at the end. Oh, Hassan, the wraparound play is in there, and Bin Laden with the finisher right here at the end. And with that, we bring not just the match, but the entire series to a close. If SFS with the winner chicken dinner and a massive 20 eliminations in the final round. SN won with 8 eliminations in second position. TFO, no eliminations in third. VXE picking up 9 eliminations in fourth position. HJ, no eliminations in fifth. The second SN squad picking up 6 eliminations in sixth. Rise with 6 eliminations in seventh position. FSA, no eliminations in 8th, and KS, no eliminations in 9th position. And that brings the show to a conclusion. Stars of the match, Sahil with the going all out 8 eliminations. Best companion went to Humble from SN1, Team 20, with 2 assists and 2 rescues. And the finisher we got to see was Sahil right there at the end. So well played to all teams who have participated in the Ultimate Clan Rumble, brought to you by Kalashnikov. I'm sure the points will be tallied and brought to you on the respective WhatsApp groups. And so I will say to everybody, thank you for tuning in to watch. It was a pleasure to cast for you throughout the Ultimate Clan Rumble. As we said, it has come to a conclusion, and to the winners who will be announced very, very shortly, well done to you. And so from myself, Waylander, I'm going to say goodbye and good night until we catch you on the next PubG stream.